that's going to be discussed next month. Open space?
Open space. Just one last question. As far as like the neighboring townships, we talk about how they're continuing to expand their R40s in their townships and they're building up. So does that mean that in the future, we can continue to add more R80 in our township to make up those differences? So we're doing, what you're proposing tonight is on the table, but is there a time frame before we can actually propose adding more R80 to make up for what these other townships don't have?
So not right now. Right now, with the way the comprehensive plan is written, we're just going to be meeting what our requirement is. That could change in the future, just like you're indicating, that maybe we would be able to readjust that amongst all of the participating municipalities, but there would need to be a change to that comprehensive plan in the future. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but right now, there's no plan to change that. But
And they do
it's
that every 10 years, the comprehensive
okay.
plan?
It
Right
should be,
now,
yes.
and we'll be seeing it in, I believe, March. So March of next year, pay attention, is when the 2050 comprehensive plan comes out from Montgomery County, I believe. And that's going to be brought to us so we can review it. And then the Central PERC will look at it and do their part. And we'll look at it, get our part. And then there will be a hearing, just like tonight, and we'll have to vote whether we accept it or not. But we won't know any of that as far as zoning goes until that plan comes out and you see what it looks like. Because everybody's contributing to the plan now. The county's going around asking, and they have it.
Thank
Okay?
Can I just hypothetically
Yep.
say another Schweitzel takes a farm 200 acres, puts in high density. Does that allow us, how many times are we allowed to change?
Not automatically.
Okay. I mean, is it once every 10 years? Can you be changed once a year? Or
It's revisited.
it's revisited?
The comprehensive plan is revisited every 10 years and updated. But zoning, once we see the zoning, then we can see what is what and where we're going.
Leac Road, Fayetteville Road. Wow. First off, this is something I've been wanting to do for a while. I want to thank everybody that lives in Upper Frederick for being as responsible as we seem to be, or at least try to be. We don't have a police force. We're not paying for that. So thank you for that, and hopefully wherever you go, you continue that everywhere you go, not just here. May it spread. I like the idea of responsibility. We wouldn't have half the problems we have if we were. But a couple of Saturday mornings ago, I called. I wasn't sure how I was going to go. And, Mr. Lehman answered the phone, spent an hour and a half talking over some of this. I got some history, maybe more than I wanted, but anyway. But I'd also talked with the code officer, and they had mentioned that this is maybe a little aside, but zoning-wise, to them, they do like 40 different municipalities, and like we're the worst. And the thing that he brought up was a height restriction in the R60 of 14 feet for an outbuilding. Now, I had that when I went to build the garage behind my house. And I tried to put it in a place where it wouldn't be in viewing, and all that. We had apparently had a 15-foot setback back then. Now it's, I don't know, 30 or something like that. I'm not sure what R80 takes it to. The only time I had to look over the codes and stuff, first I had to figure out where to find them and all that. And I have some printouts. I gave one to this guy over here so you could get to where the code book is and then to the pages pertaining to. At any rate, one of the things that Mr. Lamb and I went over were some of the setbacks and some of those things. And hopefully I'm not like walking on your toes or anything like that, but you mentioned that you were talking to the zoning board about some of those things. Just see, because it doesn't make sense that if you have 2-3 acres of ground and you've got stuff, you got to maintain the property, etc., whatever. So you got to go rent a space when you've got all this ground that you should be able to use to store your things in or on. So I'm looking at that as a positive and a hopeful thing for down the road. That, you know, everybody here can be able to do that, but we're gonna try and keep each other in mind too with those and where we place things. Not always easy, I get that. Let's see what else. I don't know if there's any way to make some of those things easier to read. Either, like where I live, are we a neighborhood? Or are we, I forget what the other one was, a conventional something or other, I think. I'm not really sure how to read some of this stuff as far as setbacks and things. It almost looks like in R60 you could build a cell tower. And I think there's a 14-foot height limit on the building. I don't know, an outbuilding anyway. So yeah, I'm hoping that you can accomplish what you're trying to do and run on. You know, it's not easy what you're doing. And filling in secretarial and all that other stuff. It takes a lot of time from your family and all, I'm sure. And again, my apologies to your daughter that morning.
Yeah, sounds all right, yeah. I appreciate it, Mr. Edinburgh, thank you.
Oh, is there any way, I mean, journalism, I think it might have been mentioned before, but I have to take care of the science. Along the gravel pipes, is there any way of leaving that as R80 and then taking the other ground that's already, was it on Lifer Road, I think? I know it makes things spotty, I suppose, instead of together in one group, but can the acreage somehow work out where you can leave them as R80 and just take these others that are to be R80 and make them 40, and get the right acreage?
It would require starting this process over again.
Yeah,
That doesn't mean that we couldn't complete this process and somebody could apply for a zoning change. That can be done as well.
And I also realize that you're trying to make it harder for development to start, so time is sort of the essence, but just some thoughts.
Anyone else?
If I may? Just so, I'm getting technical into that, so I won't be long. Honor again. So I had asked that I be removed from the list, right? And what I heard after that was that this has already been set for a vote. And the only way to change it, modify it, or do anything different would be to table it. Is that correct?
Yes, so it is advertised for action tonight. If the properties are removed, the whole process would start again. They would have to be removed, the ordinances would have to be sent to both planning commissions. Notice would have to be mailed out to all of the other 500 owners. We'd have to do all the postings again and re-advertise for another hearing and another consideration, yes.
Okay.
I'm just answering your question, yes, that's how it would have to be.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. So, again, clarification, right? You guys said, and I didn't see it, I'm not a big Facebook guy myself, that a planning commission letter was written, or just a notice in the paper, most probably, for the planning commission part of this?
No, so the Township Planning Commission meetings are public record.
Mm-hmm.
The list of when their meetings occurred are on the public website. So they recommended approval at their last public meeting. The county issued a written letter. I'm not sure which planning commission.
No, it's the Township Planning Commission is my question.
Okay.
There was no formal notice sent out prior that I'm aware of that said your property is under the discussion for this change.
Not at the planning commission level, no. Yes.
No, what was discussed was making the change in general.
Understand and appreciate it. So the planning commission met, I know how it goes. They made their plan, they sent it up. We don't hear about it because I wasn't there until now when I get the letter. And now, when I get the letter, I call them, you tell me, sorry, cuz, it's already been sent up, everybody signed it, have a nice day. Fair?
Okay.
Is that a fair statement? Or are you gonna vote on this, and two of you are gonna say yes, and three of you are gonna say no? Is there a vote that's gonna happen on this tonight, where we have some say in how this moves ahead, or we do not?
Well, so this is your say in what's gonna happen. You're expressing your opinion right now about what these two ordinances are. And then once we're done public comment, we'll close the public hearing, and then it will be up to the board as to whether or not they want to vote on the ordinances tonight, or if they want to take them and make changes, or whatever their pleasure is.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So, but understanding that any changes, anything that changes on the list of those properties requires your process.
Correct.
Thank you.
No further questions.
Any other comment? Oh, no, okay.
Can I just ask one question?
Yes,
Sorry,
ma'am.
I'm very sorry, I know. Keep the party going. So, Shelley Stockmall, property is 3313 Big Road. So that's a subdivided parcel, so I just want to make sure I'm understanding that that 2-acre lot at 3313 could still be developed on because it's 2 acres, so if I go to R80, I can put a house there.
Yeah, the R80 has a minimum lot size of 2 acres for a single-family home.
Right, so the house that's there now on 3307 is only 1.85 acres, that's grandfathered in, the house is there, nothing can be done, and the 2-acre lot.
Yeah.
And still have a house there someday, we decide that we need that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Need a clarification.
Nelson Swartley, I own a property on Big Road, and after everything I've heard tonight, I feel that it's not in the township's best interest to approve the ordinances as you have planned to approve them. So I would be, if I had a vote, I'd vote against approval. That's all.
Anybody else? Okay.
Okay, so at this point, we're going to close the public hearing on ordinance 2024-05. And now, what is before the board is the two items, the one that we skipped, which was 6, which was consideration of the first ordinance, and 8, which is consideration of the second ordinance. This is now up to the board.
I make a motion to approve ordinance 2024-04, which is the amendment.
We got to repeal.
What?
We have to repeal, so item 5 to repeal.
That's
the
what I'm
word-
Yeah, 04, 2024-04.
Oh, excuse me, I'm wrong.
Okay. Let's start again. I make a motion to approve ordinance 2024-04, zoning amendment to repeal ordinance 2024-02. Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carries 3-0. Okay, I make a motion to approve ordinance 2024-05, zoning amendment to rezone certain parcels from the land preservation district to R40 residential district, and from R60 to medium density, and from R80 to land preservation. As advertised. Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
carries.
Wonderful.
Old business.
Upcoming meetings, November 19th, 2024, Planning Commission meeting, 7 PM. November 26th, Parks and Rec Board, 7 PM. December 6th, Board of Supervisors Workshop, 7 PM. Announcement, burn bans in effect throughout township, no burning. 2025 preliminary township budget advertising, November 16th.